You are listening to episode 31 of the EU Startups podcast. Today's guest is Hans Scheffer, the founder and CEO of Helloprint, which is Europe's leading marketplace for customized print products.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the EU Startups podcast. Today we're really excited to be joined by Hans Scheffer, who is a Dutch entrepreneur and founder. Currently, he is the CEO of Helloprint, which is a company that he founded, and it's really shaking up the print industry. It's regarded as one of the world's largest e-commerce platforms for printing products, and it brings local production and delivery to global entrepreneurs and e-commerce companies, reducing their cost, speeding up delivery choices, and reducing their carbon footprints. Hans was born and raised in Rotterdam, and he's really experienced in building and scaling successful businesses. One common thread that runs through all of his endeavors seems to be a commitment to building strong teams and commitments to sustainability for both people and planet. So we'll touch on a few of these things today, I'm sure. Rotterdam as well is a really dynamic city. It's regarded as a European hub of startup activity. So it'll be really interesting to hear his thoughts too about Rotterdam and the Netherlands more generally. So Hans, thank you very, very much for joining us today. It's great to have you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. To get started, could you maybe just share a little bit about your entrepreneurial story with us? Have you always been an innovator at heart?
Well, I think I've been actually. So I'm 39 years old, and I started my first company when I was at the age of 15, 16, and my first real company when I was like 18 or 19. So I'm an entrepreneur for like 20 years. I can't think of anything else than building companies and living the entrepreneurial life. I think it's one of the most rewarding things to develop new stuff together with great people, come up with innovative ideas and spread them across the world. So I'm very happy and blessed that I can do this for a sustained period of time.
Absolutely. It really seems to be something like part of your DNA almost.
Yeah, I think so. I think if my friends describe me, then they would say Hans is always busy with new stuff and going above and beyond, and not necessarily to make things always better or faster or bolder, but to come up with something that's a little bit off the chart and a little bit different than others. And yeah, I think it's really part of who I am.
Of who you are. Awesome. That's really cool. So currently you're obviously the founder and CEO of Helloprint, which you founded back in 2013. Can you tell us a little bit more about the company? What were the main goals, the mission behind the company? What can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So we started Helloprint back in 2013 with 4 young guys with a dream. We worked already a little bit in this industry some years before when we founded our previous company, Flyer Zone. We sold that one to a listed company in the UK called printing.com in 2010. And then we thought, okay, so what shall we start something new in a new industry? And we couldn't figure out what was as scalable and as rewarding and as global as printing could be. So we decided to basically bring back the band together and start a new adventure, but in a different way. So that was the inception of Helloprint back in 2013, in a time where the market was different than now. And we started with our e-commerce model in the Netherlands and quickly internationalized that. We started with our Dutch brand, Drukzo, still called Drukzo in the Netherlands and Belgium. And at the border of Belgium, we figured out that Drukzo was not really an international name. And
yeah, I was just thinking, I'm glad I don't have to pronounce that.
Yeah, well, it's fairly difficult, I would say, if you're not coming from the Netherlands. And even in Belgium, they don't recognize the word zo because it means something different. So anyway, so we changed the name of the company in Helloprint for our international development and expansion. We grew the company from there. So we quickly internationalized, grew the team from four people to 100 plus, and Now it's 2022, I think, already, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're still there, and team is growing still. We're 250 people right now, 120 in Rotterdam, where our headquarters is located, and quite a substantial team of over 100 in Valencia, in sunny Spain, where we have centralized our customer experience center, and yeah, still trying to build the largest marketplace for customized print products, and also the most sustainable marketplace for customized print products.
Wow, it's been quite a story. And so you founded the company with people you'd obviously worked with before. You said you got the band back together and you started this new adventure. How was that? What do you think is the importance of having co-founders that you really have worked with before and you work with well? How does that help you grow?
So in essence, I think that starting a company has everything to do with people. So you can come up with a great idea, but so to be very honest, so most of the ideas are already there, and really changing, disrupting a market is fairly difficult. So I think the one thing that differentiates great companies from good companies is the culture and the team they have. And it all starts with the people you were starting the company with, I think. So yeah, I had the great luck to start the company together with Michael, one of my best friends and CTO, and also Erwin and Nick, who started the company with me and where I had vast experience with. And it's so rewarding. So it's at one end, it's very trustworthy to do it with people you know, and where you have done the trick already with. But it's also a lot of fun to do it with great like-minded people you know and who are very close to your heart. And it helps. Sometimes it's very difficult, but in most of the cases, it really accelerates also the growth of the company, because you're so well connected and you instantly understand each other, that it's a huge benefit, I think.
Sure, I imagine it really positively influences kind of the team dynamics, and you can bounce ideas off each other, and it helps with, more creativity as well and activity. Going back to 2013, how were the early days of founding the company? Did you have many challenges? You're disrupting a massive industry. So how was that experience?
So I think 2013. So we're almost 10 years back, right? So I think the whole startup landscape was different. So I founded some companies before, and in 2013, I think the whole startup scale-up scene was still very embryonic, I would say. The investment landscape was different. There were other characteristics of the market, and maybe it was a little bit less difficult than nowadays, I would say. It was quite easy to enter the market. E-commerce was on its rise. It was the peak period for e-commerce back then, and so I think the world looked a little bit less complex than that it currently looks, to be very honest.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely, times have changed over the past decade, and you really were at the forefront of that e-commerce boom that now it's kind of taken over the world.
Yeah. So yeah. Go ahead.
One thing that's super interesting about Helloprint is obviously its commitment to sustainability, which I kind of see across two pillars, one towards people and one towards planet. So first of all, talking about the planet, I mean, printing doesn't always kind of scream sustainable, eco-friendly. So how does Helloprint go about making sure that you actively protect the planet with your business?
Yeah, so make no mistake. So we are in one of the most polluting industries on Earth, and print is also one of the largest industries. So it's the 5th largest industry worldwide. So saying that we are a sustainable company is very far off the truth, and we don't make ourselves any illusions there. What we do, though, is that we are active in a very large industry, which is by itself very polluting. So the impact that we can make if we change something there is very and fairly substantial, I would say. So that's our pledge, that we really want to change the way printing companies look at their future and how they take responsibility towards the environment. And that starts with, for us, that starts with really including sustainability in our strategy. So not only saying that we're want to become a net positive or CO2 neutral company, but also really embedding those goals into our strategy. So that's what we've done over the past period. So we made very small steps into becoming a more sustainable company. And we have connected all the goals that we want to achieve to the United Nations sustainability goals, the ESG goals. And for us, it's the most important thing is that people can help us accountable towards our pledge. And that's something that we are currently working on.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that, and also, you know, being honest about it. You know, like this isn't something that's easy to do or easy to change overnight. And I think it's really interesting how you're embedding the process through all the different aspects of the business. So also as well, talking then about sustainability towards people, and you touched on this a little bit before, is about the work culture behind Helloprint. Can you speak a little bit more about the work culture that you've tried to create?
Yeah, so at Helloprint, there's one thing leading, and that's culture. And the second thing that's leading is culture as well. And it's a very essential part of who we are and who we want to become. We always said that we have two strategic goals. One is connected to growth and the role that we want to play in our market. But the second one is to become the world's best employer for the people who want to work here. And that's a very substantial and elaborated goal also for me personally as an entrepreneur. And so right from the start in 2013, we've created a culture based on our own fundamental beliefs that if you work with professionals, you should give professionals the full responsibility and freedom to do the things that they think they should do towards the goals that we have as a company. And so I sometimes need to laugh a little bit about how we now see freedom and responsibility changing because of working from home and the forced situation that we have or had due to COVID. But we already do this for many, many years. And I've learned over time that so creating a culture of freedom and responsibility is so much more than just putting some elements to your culture or say that you don't have any working hours or don't have a working spot or have free holidays. It's a total concept of really trusting your employees or the team members that you have in the team to let them judge how they act in the best interest of the company and in a good balance with their private lives. And if you give that responsibility back to people, you get a lot of rewarding back, I would say. So the Helloprint culture is fundamentally built on those very simple principles, I would say, of trust and of giving professional people the freedom to act how they think they should act.
Interesting. I think it's a really refreshing approach, you know, and it's also very simplistic, which I kind of love because it means literally every company, every business could implement that, you know, trust the people you're hiring and give them the freedom that they need to do what they do best at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I think that's exactly what it is. And so sometimes I get the question, for example, with not having or having unlimited holidays. Then people ask me, are people then taking more or less days off? I said, that's the whole concept, that you don't measure it. And then people say, but you give the freedom, but you do measure it, right? I said, no, we're not measuring it. That's the thing of freedom. And what I tend to notice is that companies are saying that they give a lot of freedom and responsibility and are preaching with that a bit. But in essence, not that many companies are really trusting the employees to do what they think is best. And I think or tend to think that we do that in the capacity that fits people.
Absolutely. And I think as well, it kind of gives employees more of a stake and more of a love for their work as well, right? Because they feel valued, they feel respected, and they feel more part of the team. So I think it's a really, really refreshing approach.
Yeah, it's also what we see back in the employee happiness surveys that we do quite extensively. And we do a lot of pool surveys, but also very extensive and in-depth surveys with the team. And that's also what we get back. So that the level of trust and level of context that they experience made them love working here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can imagine why, you know. And so as well, Helloprint has, as you mentioned before, you have offices in Spain as well as in the Netherlands. How do you go about kind of managing, but operating with diverse, disparate teams?
Well, the most and foremost thing is having very great people who take the lead on that. And so we have basically two head offices, I would say, right now. So we have the Rotterdam team and the Valencia team, but those are two siblings from the same family. We always say so. They do share that Helloprint mentality and the DNA that we all share and the core values, but they are different. So if you walk into one of our offices, you instantly feel that it's a Helloprint family that's residing there, but you also feel that it's different. So one of the reasons to split the company in the way we've done it is that back in 2016 we saw that the team was growing so massively that it was harming the culture. So we saw a lot of new people, a lot of other roles coming into the company, and the mix of the two in combination with the fast growth led to quite some challenges in terms of cultural behavior. And we made the educated call back then to basically create two cells with their own responsibility and their own approach, but still fed by the cultural values that we all believe in. And it was one of the best choices I think we've made. And now the Helloprint Valencia office is bigger than the Rotterdam office even, and there's such a good vibe and energy there. And it's also a starting point for many people who start an international career and who want to develop their careers in a certain capacity. So for us, it's a very rewarding way of managing the company in this perspective.
Interesting. It's a real testament to the founding team and the creativity that you've had to grow this company. So looking to the future, then, what do you think is next for Helloprint? What's the next steps?
So we just closed the best quarter in our history in many ways. So best revenue ever, best margin ever, highest employee happiness, highest supplier happiness. So, and that's after a period of. Thank you very much. But that's after a very challenging period within COVID. So for many companies that was a challenge, but also for us, it was quite a challenging period. So we're really looking forward now to really accelerate the company's growth again. So we have like 50 open vacancies. We just launched 5 new countries. We're looking to expansion plans in the US. We're looking to a new fresh funding round. So everything is again about growth of the company and growth of the people. So I'm really looking forward to accelerate the growth of the company together with the team, and work towards great things in the future.
Awesome! It sounds like there's lots of exciting things in the pipeline. Anyway, I'm looking forward to learning more about them.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you also founded WeTech Rotterdam, which is your home city, I believe. And Rotterdam is undoubtedly one of Europe's hubs of startup activity. It's got so much innovation going on. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's such a dynamic city?
I think most and foremost, so the tech climate in Rotterdam has massively developed over the course of the last, I would say, 5 years. So years ago, we were the little brother of Amsterdam, and I think that's maybe we still are, but it's massively changing. So Rotterdam is known for its maritime sector, obviously. But if you now look into the new developments that we have as a city in so many areas, then we can really and fairly say that Rotterdam is becoming one of the main or fastest growing tech hubs in Europe. And so I think it's mostly due to the mentality of the people here. We're very quick in making changes and adjustments and improvements to the model. It's a very it's a very high involved ecosystem, I would say. So it has short and fast lines. It's well connected, and I think all those elements are making sure that we as a city or as a region, because the region is bigger than only Rotterdam, can constantly keep reinventing itself. And the reinventing part is really something that's in the veins and the DNA of the city. So we're so used to reinvent ourselves. Historically, after the bombing, obviously in World War II, but the city is always in motion, and there's always something new to develop, a new skyscraper, a new building, a new initiative, etc., etc. And so we're definitely not there yet. And the city and its region and all the companies in the region really need to make a pledge to keep developing the city and to attract talent, to attract new companies and investors, to let the ecosystem thrive. And that's the reason that I started together with some great entrepreneurs from Rotterdam and initiatives, the WeTech Rotterdam initiative. Luckily, we don't exist anymore. And that was also our goal, to make sure that someone else in a more structured way would take over. And now we have the new Up Rotterdam initiative, sponsored by the government and by many companies and initiatives. And they are doing really well. And they're just on the cusp of accelerating the growth in the region. And I'm proud of that.
Interesting. It's really interesting as well to hear your insights from Rotterdam and how it's kind of booming thanks to a commitment to constant reinvention and creation and continually developing itself. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, come and visit us. Then you see it.
Yeah, I really. I'm like, I need to get my flights booked and get over there.
Perfect. You're more than welcome.
Perfect. And so just to finish off then, Hans, I was wondering if you could just share what would be your top advice for any budding founders or entrepreneurs out there? Because, I mean, you've had quite a lot of success, to put it mildly. So yeah, what would be your top advice?
So I think my top advice, it's start with the end in mind. I think a lot of startup founders are too much driven by short-term success and also short-term investment and valuation. While it's so much more important that you as an entrepreneur define, hey, why am I doing what I'm doing, and what kind of company do I want to build, and for how long do I want to do that? And if you do that early in your journey, you're very able to create a situation where you can select the right partners, build the right team, get the right investors on board, etc. And it would really benefit your journey if you do that early on. So I would say start with the end in mind and make sure that you have a certain vision or idea on where this might end in the future.
Interesting. That's a really interesting approach that I haven't actually heard before. So thank you very much for sharing that.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, so thank you again for joining us. It's been really wonderful to hear from you and to hear more about Helloprint. And I'm sure that everyone listening as well feels the same. It's really a fascinating story. So thank you. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.